Oscars Entertainment TV.
I also remain grateful to him for the wonderful work he's done in infrastructure in this state. The job I've done is not too often that people find themselves in office and try to improve on what they meant. For somebody who knows what is happening in River State, maybe somewhere along the line, it will touch some of us to change and live a better life. That's why the church is preaching the same thing every day. And the same thing goes by building a society. We now live in a country where you wake up every day, all you hear is bad news. That's what you hear in Nigeria every day. You wake up every day, it is not banditry, it is one form of criminality, it is one form of one thing or the other. We now live in a country where bandits kidnap people, not one, but in huge numbers. 100, 200, 300, going to the bush and calling people to come and negotiate and pay. We now live in a society where bandits now kidnap pregnant women. He delivers and even have a doctor to look after two components of failed states is when the state is no longer in control of its territory. Is when it's no longer in control of its economy. The question to ask is, how did we get here? Why is this happening to us? My dear people, it's a simple thing. This is what you get is called cumulative effect of leadership failure over the years. What we are witnessing in Nigeria today didn't start today. No. Most of these bandits you've seen around are people 20 years ago we did not care for. We didn't want them. We didn't support them. We didn't do anything for them. Today they've grown. And they're taking their revenge on the society. There's no nation in the world that will not go through what we're going. When you have 100 million people living under poverty. Nigeria today has more people living under poverty than the two big most populous nations in the world combined. China and India is 2.8 billion. Yet, Nigeria with 200 million have more people living in poverty than both of them combined. So you're going to have crisis. You have 15 million out of school children. These are people who are supposed to go to school yesterday, didn't educate them. So you're going to have a crisis. Nigerians today have one of the highest unemployment. In fact, if we lose our population, we should be the highest. Because we have 35% unemployment. When combined with underemployment, is over 55%. And 60 to 70% of this population of the unemployed and underemployed people are youths in their productive age. Parents now see their children go to school, suffer, borrow money, educate them, only to come home and stay in their house and they're feeding them. You have a crisis. These young people don't know what to do. There's no support, no feeling of being a society. You live in a country now where drug prevalence, the average world drug prevalence is 5.8%. Nigeria is 14.9%. And is worse among the youths because they're frustrated. They don't know what to do. I can go on and on. Administering debts today is worse. And stressing debts is worse. So you have a crisis. All these crises because because you have not invested in the proper tools of development yesterday. Development is driven by, most importantly, human development index. You have to invest in the human being. As whatever you do, and you do not invest in human beings or put them out of poverty, you're going to have crisis. And that is the crisis we have. And millions of people who don't know where the next meal will come from. So all we've been doing is we live in a country where the only thing you hear is consumption. That's why the only thing you hear in this country is sharing formula. Nobody talks about production formula because they're not a producing country. Even you from Niger Delta, from rivers, have had a share of this. Where your resources, which you generated for the country, all you hear is sharing. No, people are not contributing anything. And then we've come to crisis now where we're in debt, we borrowed more money than we can have. There's nothing wrong with borrowing. Absolutely nothing. As an individual, as a corporate body, there's absolutely nothing wrong with borrowing. I'm a finance person. I've come from wealth creation. In fact, the more you can borrow, the better. Countries of the world, many countries of the world that we celebrate today are all owing debt. Norway, who you can boast to have the highest sovereign wealth fund on earth today, 1.4 trillion, is still owing 50% of their GDP in debt. Singapore, that we celebrate every day, people refer to Singapore. Today, their debt is 120% of their GDP. Japan is 230% of their GDP. America, we all want to go, is going at over 100% of it's almost 100% of their GDP in debt. So debt is part of what nations use. But what you use debt to do is the important thing. If you borrow money for consumption, you're going to have a crisis. If you borrow it for investment, and I'll show you nations that borrowed money for investment, and what it translated to, Nigeria borrowed money for consumption. And when you talk, people say, oh, we borrowed it for capital vote, we borrowed it for capital project, where is the capital project? Can you show it to me? I drove from here, from Port Harcourt to Basa, to Yenagoa. Less than 100 kilometers. That road has been like that, still in construction for the past 20 years. Same thing with I drove from Lagos to Osun. Lagos Ibadan have been in construction for 20 years. It's again another road of maybe 100 and something kilometers. To complete the East-West Road, the last time I can remember, will cost only about 200 billion naira to complete it. And between the time Obasanjo, let me even say from 2015 to today, Nigeria have added to his debt 40-something billion, plus 20 trillion. 10% of 40 trillion, 10% is 4 trillion. 1% is 400 billion. Half a percent is 200 billion. Are you saying that South, you cannot use half a percent if actually it was meant for capital vote to complete that road? That means it wasn't meant for capital vote. It was consumed. That's what it is. But they will tell you it's for capital projects. And And to show you that it wasn't used for capital projects, he has added nothing to our growth, nothing to our per capita. The consequence is that servicing Nigerian debt now is consuming 90-something% of our revenue, and we are borrowing more. First 5, just to give you an example, first 5 months of last year, our revenue was 1,847 billion naira. To service debt, we use 1,802. You're left with only 98%. That is the crisis your nation faces. The oil we used to have, as you know, this oil is a diminishing asset. And it's the only thing that they will be sharing over the years without investing it. The consequence is that today, we generate 18 billion from oil if we do well, and it can no longer sustain us because we borrow too much money. And we can manage. And the money we borrow because we throw it away cannot do anything. So this crisis you're seeing will worsen unless we take drastic steps to cut cost of governance. Let's take drastic steps to the investment can do. Bangladesh. I was in Bangladesh in 2010. You cannot, if you go there, you say, how do we come here? Bangladesh GDP then was $115 billion. Their total debt was $45 billion. So they were owing 36% of their GDP. Their per capita, which is the real measure of the wealth of the nation, was $747. 2010. As at that time, Nigerian GDP was $375 billion, and per capita was $2,225. So we are 3 times Bangladesh in 2010. Today, Bangladesh GDP is $340 billion. Their debt has increased from 45 to about 110. So they've actually almost tripled their debts, but their GDP tripled. The real measure of wealth per capita is now $2,050. So they've tripled their per capita. They've done very well. If you go to Bangladesh, as at time I was in Bangladesh, they were looking for everywhere to get food. Today, Bangladesh exports garments and textiles to the world worth $36 billion. We get from oil. What we get from oil is 18. Bangladesh exports garments to white dance. And if you go to the villages, who are those? It is out of the 10 million people or so that are employed in the garment industry, 60% are women, just sewing garments and export. And we have a population that have to do that. There's no sophistication in garments sewing. That's not. Bangladesh, because they invested in education, now receives almost twice what we get in terms of remittances. If you go abroad and you see Bangladesh doing menial jobs everywhere because they've invested in education. So while we're looking for oil, which is diminishing now, other people are investing in other areas. I was in Morocco just 2 weeks ago. I've been to 31 countries because I want to know what is wrong here. I was in Morocco just 2 weeks ago. I was then the ADB president yesterday about my visit to Morocco. And he said they financed everything in Morocco. Morocco did last year, 2019, the last calculation, total exports of over $40 billion. No oil. They exported agricultural products of almost 8 billion. Assembled vehicles of almost 10 billion. Morocco. I'm not talking about countries in the Western world. I don't like comparing us with the Western world because there's no need comparing yourself with somebody you cannot even, that is not near where you are in terms of per capita or per anything. We're just Morocco here. If you go there, you see their port. I went to the airport, I was there for 2 days. Their port, Morocco port does 3 times what all our ports put together are doing. If you go there, you will not see any woman, it was seamless. And that is how nations are growing. We're not doing that. This is not just going to Morocco. Look at power generation. All they tell you here is every day you hear about we are producing 4,000 megawatts. We are producing. It's only here that you know how much we produce, how much generate. Every other country just put your switch and you don't even know who generated. Here is money for you to generate it yourself. Because it's on story every day. And you ask yourself, how come other countries have this thing without knowing who is generating company or who is distribution company or telling that their grid has failed or their this one is standing? Everything is confusion here. What are we doing here? Egypt, from 2015 to today, have doubled their power generation from 26,000 to 55,000. And all they did was working with Siemens in Germany and borrowing and putting about $10 billion. We borrowed 100. Nobody can account for it. Vietnam have doubled their power generation and distribution from 38,000 to 76. So what do you have in Africa? Nigeria, that is the biggest nation in Africa, is struggling to generate and distribute 5,000 megawatts. The second biggest economy in South Africa is generating 55,000. With only about 56 million, let's call it 60 million. The third biggest economy, Egypt, is generating 55,000. With about 100,000. But the giant cannot generate and distribute 10,000 without a. And you have this crisis upon crisis, upon crisis. We can't go on. And these things are not rocket science. There are things that are deliverable. My dear people, I've been a governor of the state. As my profession, or what I do for a living, I'm a trader. I live in Onitsha. All I do is trading. I've never done any other thing apart from trade. I was born in a trading family. In fact, my late father started his business in this town in Port Harcourt. And Onitsha. And I live in Onitsha. Live in Onitsha till today. So what I came here to do is to introduce myself to you. From there, I've been involved where, yes, saying something that was nice, but yes, I've been to various schools. I'm a Kellogg scholar, Lumina of Cambridge, Oxford. But I always tell people, educational qualification is not a measure of integrity. We're looking for managers of our resources. I've been involved in various corporations. I've served as the director or chairman of about 10 quoted companies in Nigeria. I've actually been chairman of SEC, Security and Exchange Commission. So there are places you can go and ask, who is this man called Mr. Ketelby? What does he do? How does he live his life? Who he is? I'm married, I have 2 kids, 2 graduates, they built my house. So for me, it is important that we start looking at things. What are we doing? How are we going to get this place to work? I went into politics. I've governed the state for 8 years. So that state, you can go and verify what happened there. When we came in last night, I was with some big men, very rich people in Lagos. And we were talking about issues about cutting cost of governance. And somebody mentioned something about my experience, what he knew that happened between me and Obasanjo when he visited my state. And somebody said yes, I said yes. That when I came, we didn't have money. We were going to look for money. So everybody said, we're going to borrow money. We're going to do this. I said, no. The first thing you do when you don't have money is to cut your own expenses. That's the money management first. We're wasting money here. Tell me, when will the governor of Anambra State have a lodge in Abuja? I want people to. Of course, I said, it's not governor of Abuja. Why are we going to have my predecessor bought it for 1 billion, furnishing, very tasteful, very good, with fleets of cars. I said no. Shut it down. That's where United Nations is till today. We had one in Lagos. I said no. We can't continue with this. We have guest houses for those who are visiting us. Including presidential lodge. The president doesn't live in Oka. What are we running? Are we running a guest business or what? No, if a guest wants to see us, where he stays shouldn't be our business. It's his business if he wants to see us. So shut all this thing down. We're not going to continue to entertain it. Everything that wasn't necessary, we're trying to cut off because we need to fix our schools. Our children are in school where they don't have a desk, they don't have this and everything. We shut it down. I live with my wife. It's my best friend. I saw her this morning. And I can tell you, wherever I am, since I married her, we spoke 3 times. Since I married her, I said, we sleep in one bed. And I've always told her, see, between me and you, the only person who can ask the other one to go is you, because me, I'm not going to ask you to go. Whatever you like to do, you're here. I'm married to you. So if you want, I leave the house for you. We're good. But when I went to her, I said, listen, wait a minute. They have what they call office of facility. And I said, no, my wife never campaigned. So you're not going to look for me. But to create another one, we don't have that. So I insisted he will come to another one and go and give. The father said I should leave his office. So I left. I went, let me tell you, it would have cost us at a cost. Since he came there with us, saying, you can sleep in Asaba. As a president, I've been honest with you, the mother. I was there for 8 years. I didn't know what is called bulletproof car. I told everybody must leave. Rivers State is not your excellency because this man owned this, you must own it. A brother to Mike. I'm telling you this story because there's 2 of them. The person who took me to Airport was about 8 years from Mike as Minister of Education. Tell him, you can tell him this when he comes back. I was to collect a check from him. He said I should be in his office. I said, Minister, when am I going to be in your office? He said, maybe about 9:10. I was there by 8:30. He didn't come till about midday. When he phoned us, I said, don't worry. You're giving me check. Don't worry about it. I'm happy with your workers. What am I trying to say? We must live within our income. It is not something you say, oh, I'm a president of this. No. We must shut down the cost of governance. It is unacceptable. We have one of the most talented young people on the surface of the earth. What they need is support from their country in terms of access to money and training, and they will change this world. And everybody will be happy. Why do we have to suffer these children for our own irresponsibility? Nothing. So people, it doesn't matter. People are not going to like it. I used to have a situation where presidents used to tell me, oh Peter, this person come from your state is not happy with this or that. Mr. President, I didn't promise anybody happiness. It wasn't part of my manifesto, but happiness of this school. As the next Senate, I made everybody that I'm meeting people, there's nothing to share in this country again. What we need to do is to change this country. Let our young people have a means of livelihood. Otherwise, whatever we we need to give them opportunity. People are leaving school. We are talking to them, we don't have revenue, we don't go to university, nobody have revenue. How can you have revenue when millions of the people are not working? Are they going to create money from where? Go to China, go to Indonesia, go to India. In Indonesia, they have Ministry of Micro, Small Businesses, lending money to small people. 98% of the companies in Indonesia is micro, small businesses owned by young men and women. In China, this group I'm talking produces 65% of the so-called Chinese GDP, revenue, and everything. They employ 60% of the job. The number of people employed in China now is 804 million. So they produce 60%, 560. In fact, in urban area, they produce 80%. They created 80% of the jobs. 80%. And urban area jobs, out of this 800 million, is 480. So multiply by 80%. Chinese budget is 4 trillion, the last time. Out of which this 4 trillion, you will not believe it, 3.2 trillion comes from revenue, and 50% of it is generated by MSMEs. Here they can't pay tax. They don't have a job. We've reduced them to talk. We've reduced them to some menial things and everything that they don't have a future. At the time, young people are creating Twitter, creating Apple, Facebook. This 18 billion we're sharing every year is not up to 1/4 revenue of Facebook. And these people who founded this thing are their colleagues. Twitter has just been sold for 44 billion. And we are quarreling about 18 billion every year, 200 million people. Because we refuse to give young people hope. I'm involved in this presidency because I want us to create a future for our people. I want us to create a future for our children. When you go to your delegates, please, when you have opportunity to select who will be our next president, do not look at Peter. Do not look at even your mom. Do not look at any of us. Put the picture of your children in front of you and ask yourself, pray to God, which society do I want these children to live in? Will they continue to live in this society that I lived? Or will they live in a different society? It is critical. Because if we get it wrong, sooner or later, all of us will be refugees. Everybody. And I can tell you, you can't be delegate forever. This is your chance. I used to tell my colleagues, you can't be His Excellency forever. They think, they say, well, listen. They say, oh, Peter, how can you come to Abuja? But it was part of a court custom. How can you come to Abuja alone? How can you come to Abuja carrying your bag? How can you come to Abuja and say, listen, this is a temporary office. If you change your lifestyle in this office, it will be difficult for you to go home. I live in Original. I don't see those people. Nobody calls me His Excellency again. Anybody you talk to now will reply you in the same language. Nobody fears me again. That time, anything I call anybody, even I call anybody name, you will fear. Now nobody, anything you say, they will reply you immediately. So it's better you use better language and do so that when you go, they will pity you. I live in Original. I go to church every day. I see them. So it's important. The same thing is you are not delegate. You can't be delegate for it. You will be shocked. The next day, the other person will delegate. You can even be on this side, begging delegate. They will be looking at you. Say, when you are delegate, can you talk to somebody? So these are things we must all manage and be careful with. I came this morning from Lagos on a piece. Why? Because that's what I used to. When I finish with you, I go to appointment, end up in Crossman, enter a piece, go back to Lagos. Because I'm used to them. I carry my bag because I'm carrying it before. My wife carries her home. If I change that to Her Excellency and 5 people carry her bag, by now you'll be asking me. I have to get people to hire to carry her back then from. If I don't do it, they will have a problem. But she's carrying her bag, I'm carrying my own, no problem. We get up in the morning, we clean like this. Now that 2 of us live alone without you. So you must take an advantage of where you are and do things properly. People used to tell me, hey, we're going to get this when we are leaving, we're going to get this. When I left Anambra State, I didn't leave money in foreign banks. Chairman just asked me. I left money in 3 banks, and I invited all traditional class and everybody and said, I'm going today. I have in Access Bank $50 million, 12 billion naira. The MD said, yes, take him up with your hand. Give it to this man. I have in Diamond Bank $50 million, 12 billion, and they said, yes, take it. I have in Fidelity Bank $56 million, 12 billion, take it. I'm going home. Since I left, Anambra has not bought me pure water. I'm not missing anything there. Because there was nothing there that I cannot afford. There was nothing I'm missing. Nobody will ever send P2B pushed him out. My convoy was for. Let's build a better Nigeria. The society we are building today will only do one thing. Take his revenge on our children and our grandchildren. God bless you.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. National delegates of Rivers State to the May 28th and 29th National Convention, just confirmed, coming up in Abuja this month. Fortunately, we are the first presidential aspirant that has come here to speak to us. Not that others have not indicated interest, there have been conflict. Some of them were based, the commissioning of projects is in our DNA here. They came in, most of the times we were commissioning projects. Listening to you, I had one of my staff said, does he own a church? I say yes, he has the Ministry of Knowledge Economy. We are happy with you. We are proud that Nigerians still have people like you. When we listen to our own the leader of our party in the state, we thought he's the only person left in this country. But listening to you now, we believe there is still one or two more people who are interested in the development of our country. Most of our people before your arrival, because they've actually watched you on YouTube or during other presentation, I'm sure what you have said today has added to what they used to know about you. You don't preach, but you tell people what you did in Anambra. You don't preach, but you mentioned a state you governed and road infrastructure changed. From savings from foreign and local bonds, saved $156 million. And then you left 75 billion naira in the account before leaving an office. And you left no debt to your successor. Some other people may not believe all this, but the truth is that we are here saying it and make references to where people should go and cross-check. Your Excellency, you have spoken quite a lot, but most of our people are thrilled, especially when you mention East-West Road. You discover that the countenance changed. Because the story is that, is it possible that for somebody somewhere to still remember us? Because we know what we are going through. The side of war is much better. Where you have the economy of this country, people are going through excruciating pains, going home, and nobody cares. For you to even mention East-West Road, for us, it's a relief because nobody talks about it. Your Excellency, we have one of the best ports in the country here. The only deep sea port. The best in the country. The traffic is the best. The kingdom is the best. But an average trader in Aba will go to take and to clear his goods just because of the way they perceive us and the way they have abandoned us. You know, in that tax, which everybody has been depending on today, has become a cost to us. There are people die on a daily basis. The suits will suffer, the deprivation, and we say, yes, governments have been into the hands of people who do not care about us. So, for us, when we listen to people like you, who make comparisons to other nations, maybe for the information, sir, I served in South Korea. A country Nigeria paid their salary during Shagali period, and we set up Obi Bank. And up to today, the liquidation of Obi Bank, nobody has related to South Korea what belongs to them. And today, South Korea is the 12th economy in the world. And we that pay their salary can see suffering. And you clearly state that the reason is bad governance. There is no two ways about it. We've never been divided as a people. Sharply divided. Because they told us, we thought they were joking, that because we didn't give them 5%, they are going to punish us 95%. And that is what is going on. We've been ridiculed in the whole world. Nobody wants to reckon with the green passport. Just because of bad governance. And every day somebody will come on air to say Nigerians is better off. And they made a promise to the man in charge of the information. If you say Nigeria is better off, drive from Abuja to your home in Kwara State and see if you can come back alive. We hear of double gauge line in railways all over the country. Our own brother is in charge of the Ministry of Transport. They are even promising us single gauge. That single gauge, we have not seen anything. They promise us money deep seaport. We have not seen anything. We are people who are paying. People came here since 8 a.m. to wait because they want to listen to somebody like you. But our one word who live here is the word said by our own leader. His Excellency Nyesom Ezewonwike. He said that if he is not being elected as president of this country, that he will still work for PDP. And what I am comfortable with you is that since you left the traditional party of Anambra people, and joined PDP, you have never abandoned PDP. You know those. Once you are not favor, they will move to Dubai. And this is because they are not happy. Because we have no other party than PDP. So when we see people like you with this passion of development and interest in our party, we welcome you and we see you as one of us. And our government expression told us that P2B is one of us. Receive him with two hands. And I can tell you, we are happy with you and we wish you well. As you go around the country, I believe Nigerians will speak on the 28th and 29th of this month. Thank you and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have come.
What I can call consultation with the PDP stakeholders in River State. That's why I'm here.
So what do you expect? What do you expect from the delegates? What do you expect from the PDP delegates in River State?
Well, I've said it to every delegate all over Nigeria. What they have to do is to look at the way our country is today. Look at it and ask themselves, which society do I want my children to live in? And how do we build a better place for them before you elect people that are going to be your candidates? And I'm saying the same thing to Nigerians for the general election.
Okay, so allow me to ask this question, sorry. Knowing that River State is a state where the
If you saw when I was speaking, that I said the first thing that I'm here at the express permission office of him. He gave me the permission to come because I had to talk to him. Two, not only that he knew I was here, also I did mention that I paid my respects to his infrastructure development.
All Stars Entertainment TV.